Good evening, everybody. Welcome to a special episode of Sports Bytes. I'm joined tonight by my forever gracious host, Miss Cara Mallonga. And we have a very special guest, a former Ateneo buddy of mine, the team manager of Phoenix, Mr. Paolo Bugia. Cara and Paolo, kayo naman. Bumati naman kayo.
Ayan, thank you very much, Brian. So, good evening. After ng ating mga kakilig-kilig na mga Valentine's episode, dito naman tayo sa mainit-init na ating exclusive interview with tama ba, Mr. Bugia, the OPA of PBA?
Yun ang pauso. Okay.
Yan, nagturo, yan si Brian.
Yeah.
Ayan,
Good evening, Brian. Cara, thank you for having me, and I'm happy to be here and answer any of your questions.
Ayan, sige. So, si Brian, kilala yan na ng hot seat. Alam naman ng mga namin yan. Yan ang natin eh. Ay, alam naman yan ng mga guests natin. Alam ko na sila ang magpapatotoo niyan. Sige,
Ganon.
Brian, far away.
Far away, ba't ako yung magtatanong? Well, una-una ko, basahin naman natin si Pao. No? It's been a while. Sabi nga, nag-usap nga kami kanina. It's been 2006 pa tayo rin nakita, Pao, di ba?
Very long, yes.
Okay. Tapos yun nga, paano ka ba napunta dyan sa manager position na yan?
Well, it's still in the PBA, which I spent, after nung college, the next 10 to 11 years. I was playing basketball in the PBA for several teams. And the last 5 years, I played for Alaska. Unfortunately, back in 2015, I tore my second ACL. And after that, I was informed that, the team would not be able to renew me. It's about time. And at that time, I was really nearing the age of basketball retirement. Maybe not full retirement, but basketball retirement. So, the owner of Alaska, at the time si Boss Fred Oitengsu, he was the one who convinced me to turn corporate. So, at that time, I made my resume, puro basketball credentials lang. And I passed it to PBA corporations because they are the corporations that are familiar with me. So I passed it to Alaska, that time, SMC corporations and PLDT MVP corporations. And it was just timing din, stroke of luck at that time. A young company who's very, very enthusiastic about basketball wanted to come into the league, and they were going to purchase one franchise under the SMC corporation. And I was referred to be manager. So never in my wildest dreams that I would think I'd be a manager, but I figured it was a combination of the best of both worlds because I'm a basketball player and I was looking to go into corporate. So this is corporate basketball right here. And I, right now I can say it's a dream job for me. So I'm very happy to be where I am.
So, may pinuntan din yung pag-aaral natin dati.
Yes.
But do you actually have to prepare for that? Because I know like what you said, di ba, na parang minsan magugulat ka na lang, uy, tinitrade na ako, uy, hindi na ako ma-renew, or uy, na-injure ako, di ba? So how does actually a basketball player or a professional basketball player prepare for life after basketball? Was it something that you intentionally planned on having?
No, I would say a very lucky few who's had stellar careers and go on to play into the twilight years. Siguro like, sino ba legends dyan? Si Sonny Jaworski, all the way till he was 50. Guys like Asi is at 45, still playing, still going strong. Lucky few, they get to spend a long time in basketball, earn money, and then sort of plan out their retirement. But most of in the PBA players in the PBA, the general population in the PBA, life of a basketball player is very hard. It's a contractual basis, 1, 2, 3 years maximum at a time. After that, you really don't know if you're going to be renewed or if you're going to be traded to another team. So all you can do is always be prepared, pa-condition, stay healthy and everything. So in my case, I had a career-threatening injury at that time, and when they tell you that it's they're not going to renew you, and other teams aren't really looking for another player at that point, then it hits you hard, but you just have to move on. Siguro nalungkot ako mga ilang araw lang, then move on na, focus na on the next thing. But it's really hard and it's really tough. Some players don't even last a year, 2 years, and they have to transition to whatever it is that's next for them. And that's just the way it is.
So Brian, no, parang because there's a lot of misconception about, I guess, being a professional basketball player. Kala nila it's just all the glitz and glamour. But now we're hearing from Mr. Bugia na talagang there is risky siya. It's a risk that someone takes just to be able to entertain yung Filipino fans. Kasi isipin mo, parang kang sales lady sa SM, contractual. You don't know when they're going to end your contract, or when they're going to pass you on to the next team. Oo. So and with regards to that, we know na syempre well, you're blessed to be able to transition as a team manager. Maybe our viewers would also like to know, kasi ako, akala ko nga lang dati, because I'm not very inept with basketball. Kala ko, sabi ko, Brian, ano ginagawa ng team manager? I know they manage the team, they make sure that they're taken care of, but mostly kasi nakikita lang ng fans, pa-selfie-selfie lang with the teams eh. So, aside from that, di ba? Kasi yun yung madalas, like what's on social media, oy, ayan, may manager, naka-selfie with them. So, what is the role of the team manager? What do you actually do aside from yun nga, pa-selfie-selfie with the team members?
Napaisip ako, sino bang team manager nagsa-selfie ngayon? Definitely.
Marami.
Definitely, it's more than pa-selfie lang. Quite simply put, no, it's the business side of the team. Coaches, I don't know how to coach, so we hire coaches and his his team, his assistant coaches and all of that to take care of basketball planning, strategies, schemes, offensive, defensive schemes, training. They handle all of that. On the business side, there's a lot wherein that's my role, that's my job. It starts from contract negotiations all the way to bills and supplies such as water, equipment, practice gear, basketballs, reservation of venues, and I also cover marketing for the team, outreach programs, anything that builds the brand, helps build the brand for the team. And when put together, we put together a good brand, and on court it translates to what we want to achieve. Also, then you have a complete and solid team.
That's very interesting. You sound like parang a maestro. Diba? Parang ikaw ang maestro ng isa, diba? Ng isang malaking orchestra. If that's how you put it.
Sort of, yes. Para siyang organizer, so to speak. So pag may game, you have to make sure that, even the slightest thing like laundry, uniforms, transportation for certain players, such as imports when they arrive, they're not from around here, accommodations nila, recovery meal, all of that has to be in front and available for the players at certain times. And but having said all of that, I'm the team manager here in the PBA. It's different from how the NBA is. The team manager is sort of just a middle manager. We still have upper management, and upper management, our PBA board of governors, they are the people who actually call the shots, and they execute. If a certain thing is approved or denied. So we merely facilitate, and we're all under that.
So more of yung day-to-day management and recommendatory.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Oo. So yun pala siya, Brian. So ayan, hindi lang pa selfie-selfie lang. Thank you for that information, Mr. Bugia.
Hindi ko lang narinig yun.
That being said, syempre, it's very difficult now. Yung day-to-day mo, it's different because currently we have a pandemic, diba? So how hard was it to manage a team during this COVID-19 pandemic?
Yeah, it was very difficult, especially, no one could have anticipated a situation like this, and no one really knows how to react. So we all had to sort of adjust on the fly. And thanks to online technology like this, we were still able to keep in touch with the players and sort of monitor their conditioning and their exercises, but still not the same as normal practice on the court. So we would get weekly meetings on Zoom, and then coaches would have different parts of the day um, meet with certain groups of players. Kasi smaller groups are more efficient than meeting everyone at the same time. In terms of physical, so physical conditioning, they can do their work at home or wherever they are throughout this pandemic. And then mental coaches show film, basketball film, and schemes for them to review and to refresh our plays, just so to stay ready, like when the season and the conference starts. We don't really have to start from zero. It's always like refreshed in their minds. So that's what we were doing throughout this past year, on marketing side, and on from the corporate social responsibility side. The team was also able to promote awareness of being following protocols of the government and local government units about safety protocols and health. And they use the platforms of social media to do that. And we were able to raise funds also to donate to frontliners and some LGUs and hospitals that need PPEs and maybe relief goods. So that was what we were doing. And all of those, hindi nabawasan yung trabaho ko, because all of those needs organization and coordination, and which, happy naman ako na kahit sa pandemic, diba, we still have our jobs and I'm still doing something and I'm still responsible for certain things.
Mas dumami yung kanilang trabaho, Bri. Actually, we have a question here from Aldrin of 3B Hoops. Ano ang pinagkaiba ng training ngayong pandemic kumpara noon?
Okay, so yung training ngayon, ang malaking difference now is yung dahil sa pandemic, bawal ang limahan sa mga saan ba tayo? Sa mga kunya, NCR, we are on GCQ. It's still not allowed unless the government, IATF allows it, that we conduct a bubble, then we can do there. So the biggest training, kung wala kasi pandemic, whole year round nagte-training yung team, yung players. Ngayon, bawal yung training. It has to be closely monitored, has to be a set of different, protocols and stringent guidelines. We are left but no choice. Like last year, nag-training lang kami siguro 2 to 3 weeks before the conference, and it's very hard. So we were gaining our breath. We were, getting back into shape while the conference was ongoing. So I think that's the biggest difference as opposed to kapag walang pandemic, whole year round ka nagta-training.
Naku, medyo nga parang, well, of course, we're lucky na talagang sports has resumed with other countries. I think they haven't resumed sports still. Pero I have heard a lot of people din kasi na parang sabi nila, the sports give them hope daw. Amidst all the crazy that's happening. At least yung the PBA, the PFL, boxing, everything else, they get to have a certain source of entertainment from that. Sige, so from that challenging role, yan, na meron ka ngayong pandemic, let's go now dun sa mainit nating issue sa ngayon, which
Sandali lang,
is...
Tara, bago ko
Yes.
batiin mo muna si Chris King de la Cruz.
Ay, meron pala. O, Papa Chris. Hi,
Hi, Chris.
good evening. Salamat po sa pag-support at panonood ngayong gabing ito. Yan. O, baka may questions ka pa dyan, Brian.
Hindi, ikaw na, sige na. Para pag nagalit si Pao, hindi sa akin, sa'yo lang.
Bakit sa akin? Ganon talagang hindi, mabait naman yan si Mr. Bugia. Oo, tingnan mo nga. Talagang pinaunlakan niya tayo ng exclusive podcast interview. Kahit na, alam mo naman yung reputation mo, Brian, dun sa mga talagang mahirap na questions pinangunahan ko na. So, ayan, ngayon, punta na nga tayo dun sa ating mainit-init na issue, which is the PBA draft. So, ngayon, I mean, we know as a team manager, that's also part of the role, right? Dun sa pag-determine ng draft. How do you, go on about it? Ano yung considerations na meron ng isang team sa pagdating sa draft?
Well, of course, it's always easier if the GM, the general manager, is familiar with basketball, such as myself. But we always go with the recommendations of the head coach first. So the head coach has, of course, a plan, and in terms of his vision, in terms of his philosophy and system. And with that system, he has to choose the pieces that would complement that. So if he likes a run and gun, then he has to get fast players. If he likes a more deliberate, a more deliberate offensive system, then maybe tall players for the post and all of that. So we always go with what the coaches need. Now, and it's always a discussion. Sometimes a debate of who to get and that. So it's really a collaborative effort. So like in the coming draft now, we have 3 picks because after our trade, we ended up with 3 picks, and we're really making room because this is dubbed one of the most talent-rich laden draft group in recent years, and we want to make the most of it. We want to make sure that we maximize and we have room for our team. So we're really studying, especially now. The PBA just recently canceled the draft combine. That means we won't be able to look at rookies on the floor, scrimmaging against one another. So we have to rely on scouting tapes, statistics in college, and all of that. So the coaches and I myself have our work cut out in front of us.
Mm. Um, I am curious though kasi 'di ba, siyempre parang reality TV lumalabas, parang reality TV audition kasi tapes lang. Ano yung mga adjustments niyo? Meron ba kayong matrix system kung paano niyo i-ge-gauge kung sino yung kukunin niyo sa draft
Um,
or prospects niyo?
no, usually, so at number 6, what we do is coaches and the management, we create a mock drafts a lot coming towards the draft day, because some teams will be trading, some teams will be signing players, and then once you reach draft day, you pretty much have an idea what other teams have. So let's say for us at number 6, we know who will pick before us. There are 5 teams that will pick before us, and we sort of calculate on who they will pick based on their lineup and what they need. So we assume, Terra Firma's number 1. Maybe they might need a big man. So we assume they get we make a mock draft. They get this guy who will fall on number 6. Who are the several players that most likely will fall on a lap, and then we make our predictions, and then we write down based on priority. Now, if that person gets picked before our numbers, comes up, then we cross it out. Next guy in line. So it's based on rankings, actually, how we choose.
So,
But yeah, go ahead, Brian.
so meron pa, just curious, meron na kayong ganyang ginawa now? May mga parang
Yeah, meron. Especially now, back before the trade, we were number 10. So medyo malayo, di ba? Daming ano dun. Daming mga, ano tawag dito?
Mauuna. Oo, mauuna na
Or
nakapila.
possibilities or permutations. Dami yung mangyari doon. So at number 6, medyo set ka na, nakita mo eh. Especially at number 6. The top 5, very hard written na yun eh, kung sino yung mga players na yun eh. So at number 6, I think we were narrowing down to like 3 or 4. And with those possibilities, kung kahit sino doon, we'll be very happy and very excited to get those.
you were mentioning kanina scouting 'di ba, through sa videos ito may maganda na namang question si Aldrin Review Hoops. Regarding sa mga prospect, pero ba yung mga YouTuber na naglalabas ng videos na hindi kilala mo?
Oo, or mga TikToks. Parang do you actually pay attention to that? To viral videos? Oo.
That's a good question.
Yeah, actually, it's will really to our advantage if coaches, they look at the list that's 97, and they familiarize with each and every one, at least know who they are. So if they didn't play college here, they weren't seen, dito hindi nakapag first hand kung anong klaseng laro niya, at least research if he came from overseas, if there are any videos or statistics of where he played, at least that's the very least. And of course, with the dawn of YouTube, social media, that helps, especially now na walang rookie combine. But of course, it's really not the same, and there might be players that will this is a disadvantage, especially those who hindi kilala, hindi nakapag-college dito or nakapag-D-League dito, na kaya pala, So after that, hopefully, when all this is over, when practices get back to normal, and the those who weren't picked because they were passed on, maybe they can try out, they can see, they can finally show their wares, and then there palang, then maybe, could be good for them. But as of now, yeah, we're looking at everything, YouTube videos, stock files, stats, you name
Mm.
it. So tinitingnan namin.
At
Al,
that, yeah,
Al,
yeah, go
ano,
ahead.
sabihin ko lang, Alrin, narinig mo na, tuloy mo para matulungan mo sila, Paolo.
Oo nga. At the
Nasa
advent of
listahan ba siya? Nasa listahan naman.
and
Nag-apply na siya ng draft?
he
Hindi,
helps promote, oh. He helps
YouTuber siya.
promote. He's a YouTuber
YouTuber,
who helps
Yeah.
YouTuber.
promote, oh. With the advent of social media, is this something that you advocate? Na parang to really transform the way that they do basketball if they want to be discovered, to put themselves out there, to create TikToks, Instagram, to have social media
Well,
presence.
I wouldn't say advocate. No, Cara. Uh, it just happened, like, especially this year, everything exploded online because everyone's at home. Um, I would say that yes, it's starting to transition there. People are getting known more on social media, online. But I think certain things, especially professional basketball at the level of the PBA, most of the coaches still stick to old school scouting. Perhaps they're not that hindi pa ready to simply base a decision on online, but it's getting there, and it's exciting to see certain players, and if yun nga makita nga dun sa then social media, they might, coaches or some players might give them a second look. It could help, but I can't say for sure, just because it's something new for everyone. Even this year, I heard the draft will be an online draft, so that is something very new and challenging. I'm not sure how that will play out yet. I have yet to get the details, because we need to be in constant private communication while the draft is ongoing with our coaches and management. So pagka medyo kanya-kanyang bahay, I don't know, hindi ko pa alam kung paanong mechanics nun.
Si Coach Topex ba may TikTok? Na
I
ginagamit
hope
para
not. I
i-scout?
don't know. I don't know. Our staff has TikTok. I think some of our staff TikTok.
Okay. Sige, hanapin natin sa
Yes.
TikTok si Coach Topex. So yan, now we know, Brian, or ako, I'm aware now as to how it works now and yung current changes within the draft with your new players. Ayan, yan na tayo. Medyo painit na painit yung ating discussion. With our new players, well, you explained a while ago na ang lalim nyo nga dun sa draft, sobrang lalim nyo na, which I don't know, is that a great disadvantage to teams if they're very deep into the draft? Na they
When you say deep, no, the closer you are to number one, so the higher you are to number one, the more value. So right now we used to be 10, then we traded that. We got number 6 together along with our newest superstar point guard, Chris Banchero. So, like I said, so roll the difference picking at number 10 and number 6. It could be a difference of a great player and a good player. On top of that, we have uh, the 16th and the 18th pick. So, although medyo malayo na, but having seen the promise of the pool of cadets that will join this draft, we're still positive that we can get an impact player at those picks, at those numbers, and that is why we're saving room, so that by the time the draft comes, we can make a better decision on who to renew, who to sign, and ultimately who to keep in the team.
Oh, there's an interesting question here from Gav Ferreras. No?
Yes,
Ano
Coach
siya, parang,
Paolo. Yun.
ikaw,
Coach daw, coach.
Mhm.
Ilan ba ang players ng Phoenix right now since nangyari na ang trade? Pero I think you answered this earlier. Parang narinig ko. Pero
Yes,
siguro,
yes. So it's the same because since we traded Calvin, we still got Banchero, so parang papalit lang sila. On the roster right now, we have 9 players under contract. We just signed Jansen Rios the other week, and yeah, like I said, you're right. I answered in an earlier interview. Coach Topex and the management and the coaching staff were really discussing and looking out on who would be the best fit for our team, and we wouldn't know that until the draft is finally here. No, so and I know that some players medyo matatamaan, some players, but that's professional sports. Sometimes management coaches they have to make decisions that would be best for the team, and right now it's the pieces of Coach Topex which he could personally pick when the draft comes and then make a decision by then. So, yun, sir.
Um, is this intentional? I mean, kasi because si Coach Topex, he just came in. Diba? He's a recently installed head coach. And
Yes.
of course, he has his own preferences in building a team.
Yes.
He has his own diskarte. So since may
Yes.
sarili siyang diskarte, ito bang clean slate that you're providing for him is in support towards, kasi maganda yung pinakita niya last
Yes.
bubble nag-Final Four kayo.
Yes, that's
Byproduct ba
correct.
yan?
Yeah, that's correct. No, that's exactly right. It's very fortunate for him that when he came in, several players are expiring, and that means that he's not held or obligated to keep just from the previous holdover of the team because they're bound by contracts. No, so by getting a clean slate, like you said, he has the luxury to choose which he wants to retain, which he wants to wait maybe and see for better opportunities, and that's exactly what he and the coaches and management are doing right now. Um, and also, it's a unique situation because of the scheduling. The draft is never done 3 months after the conclusion of the season. That leaves like 3 months of a gap between when players are expiring and new players are coming in. Usually, it's within the same month. So that just happened now, and like I said, we have to adjust to that. We have to adjust to that schedule, and along that adjustment, there are certain players talaga na that will be left out. But I also gave an example earlier that some players turned out to be a blessing. They're free age them that they were expiring and that they were free agents because at the even as early as December, we were very transparent to these players and agents that we will about our plans, and then we would not might not be able to commit a contract as early as January, might come in this March, and then that we will not hold them down, to wait for our offer, but they are free to look for other teams and other opportunities. Kasi naman, I mean, it's only fair to them. And one of our players, Dave Marcelo, was able to sign with another team with actually a better contract. I think he got a longer tenure of 2 years, and it turned out a better deal for him. So, we're happy for him, and we wish him luck.
Yeah, and I would really think that Phoenix players are going to be a hot commodity after what you've shown inside the bubble. Baka
Yeah.
pinag-aagawan sila ngayon.
Yes,
Diba?
for sure. Yeah, yeah, yes, for sure.
yeah. Batiin ko
So,
lang sa Dalikara si yung mga bumabate, sila Jordan, Samar, si Egay na kay Cruz. Tapos, Pau, there's a interesting question here from Carlo Olrak.
Mm-hmm.
It has to do with the draft. Ano raw ang klaseng player hanap nyo sa number 6?
hulaan ko, gwapo din. Kasi panay gwapo yung kinukuha nila. May vital statistics ba yan?
Yeah. Yung ano niya, no, syempre pagdating doon, no, number 6, baka medyo mag-iiba. Depends on who the talent will be available. But either way, if we were given a choice, because kakakuha lang namin ng guard kay Chris Banchero, now we're looking to fill in maybe a frontline spot, a big man, versatile enough, that could help with Jason and Justin, the rebounding. But like I said, pagdating na 6, kung walang big pero may talented naman na wingman or guard, we would consider be open to that also.
Yeah. Best talent that there is
Um,
available from that point, no? All right. Thank you,
Talagang
Coach.
tingin sa akin coach, no? Coach
Oo,
Paolo.
coach Sensei. Ano ba dapat ang tawag sa'yo?
Manager.
Manager? Manager?
Manage.
Manager?
Okay.
Ano ba preference mo? O, sige,
Wala.
para
Boobs.
bugs. Pero it seems to me that with everything that you're saying, all stars are kind of aligned in preference of Phoenix kasi parang with the scheduling inside the bubble and with what's happening now, Coach Topex being newly installed, he is
Mhm.
given a clean slate.
Mhm.
So, are you looking forward to parang reinforcing pa yung team? Do you think parang this is your way of building a team that will eventually reach the finals?
Yeah, it's every year naman, every conference, no, that is our goal. Right now, it's just that, like I said, the schedule is kind of different, but we find ways around it. We have 9 players. We're looking to make the best decisions to fill up. Will we stick with 9 players? Definitely not. When the season comes, we're looking to have the best 15-man roster based on our plans, based on Coach Topic's vision. And it just so happens that it'll take time because the draft is right now, it's a month away. And year in, year out, we will commit to be the best roster that we can come up with, and we will commit that the players will fight until the end. And that's always been our mantra, no? Even in the last conference in the bubble, it didn't matter if we just started training for 1 week or 2 weeks, or we had several players who were not allowed yet to play and everything. We just continue to be the best versions, like what Coach Topic says, of ourselves. It doesn't matter who's in front of you or what are the circumstances. Just do your best, and we will do that even this conference.
Oo, mukhang malakas sila manalangin, Brian, ni Coach Topex. Kaya napakadami yung blessing.
Oh.
Ikaw, Brian, alam ko may burning question ka kanina pa eh. Diba?
Ako?
Since 9 players, may tinatanong ka sa akin eh with regards to plans ni Mr. Bugia. You
Uh,
remember the question that you had a while ago?
Before that, I wanted to ask kasi yung yung kumbaga how long has Chris Banchero been on the radar? Kasi if you followed this guy's career since his ABL days, we all know that he's good, di ba? Ang pinag-usapan nga namin kanina ni Powers, baka it might be because he's on the wrong team. That's why hindi na lalabas yung talent niya, yung potential niya. And maybe with Phoenix, lumabas siya. Tingin mo pa para bang something like that ba?
Yeah. I think him being in Magnolia, medyo na diminish din yung opportunities niya because very talent rich din yung backcourt noon. You have Baroka, Halalon, and Polly. Mga Gilas players lahat yun, di ba? So he still played well. He was still a big factor. But we feel like if he came over to us, that he would own the point guard spot, and whatever he does with that time, he will have all the time and all the chances, opportunities here. And I think mas gagaling pa at lalabas pa yung laro niya. So yeah, that's why we're very excited to have him and see. It'll be interesting to see what kind of dynamic they will have with Matthew Wright as one of a sort of like a 1-2 punch on the backcourt. 2 guard combo, 2 guard front, and we'll see how that plays out.
Parang kami Splash Brothers
Yeah,
Oo.
that's
Naging
tama.
factor ba na naging factor ba na may itsura si Chris doon sa trade? Kasi parang may Matthew Wright ka na eh. O, diba? So, parang tinatapatan ba na,
Well,
parang, sige, punuin natin ng gwapo tong team natin.
secondary yung itsura. Yung itsura ng game yung primary, and Chris has game. So that's what we were going for.
Okay. So, magtatayo na ng ng basketball team / talent agency ang Phoenix, hindi pa natin alam.
Nakakara, control yourself. Yung nga naman.
Control ito.
Dapat siguro pag fans yung kausap mo, siguro mas makasagot sila sa mga ganyan.
So, yung pinapatanong ni Karang mainit, itatanong ko na. Kasi mukhang ano naman eh. Meron pa bang other trades na mangyayari or you're planning or whatever? Do you have any more changes in mind that you're planning to do?
The team is right now, like diba, we're 9 players. We're searching for better opportunities until the draft as much as we can. making sure that we get the right fit for Coach Topex. And I would say like right now we're still open to anything.
Okay.
I can't say that meron talagang development, but we're still looking and we're building our team, and that goes to say na we're looking at their players. We're always on the scout for people, players who are available or whatnot. But there's always talks. It's the preseason, and up until before the conference starts and the roster is final, a lot can change. That's all I can say.
All right.
Okay. So, ito naman, considering na you have 9 members of your team, did it ever cross your mind to be a playing coach?
Playing
Nagkaplano ka ba?
manager.
Ay, sorry, playing manager pala. Coach kasi tinalang coach kanina. So, sorry na ako. To be a playing manager. Ayan, to be a
Um,
playing manager.
unless gawing 5 minutes lang yung game, pwede siguro ako. Pero kung 48 minutes, no.
Okay. So, yan, hindi na mag-unretire. Kanina kasi tinatanong ako ni Brian, baka may plano siya mag-unretire, kaya 9 na lang sila. Diba? Talagang
Pag may
sinisave.
sports fest siguro, pag magka-intramurals na lang yung PBA, sali na lang ako
Mga,
doon.
mga alumni league, Pau.
Alumni league,
Alumni
yes.
league.
Yeah.
Ayun.
Hindi, Kara, ako tanongin kita, nakita mo na ba maglaro si Pau during his days?
During his days, hindi. Pero I've seen
Eh,
some, oo, hindi.
Nag-research sige.
Oo, hindi. Bata pa kasi ako, alam niyo naman, medyo ano na kayo eh. Gen Z lang ako eh.
hindi. Basta,
Hindi ko naabutan
magaling
yan.
si Pau. Quiet si Pau pero effective. No.
Ayun naman pala. Silent but deadly.
But
Silent
Yeah,
but
sabi ko na
deadly.
nga,
Silent. Exactly.
Ayan. So, considering, ayan, meron ka ng pinaplanong reinforced team. So, what are the future plans naman ng Team Phoenix? I'm very sure that the viewers and the fans would like to know.
Um, we would like to be a consistent contender. So the last bubble conference was a very good start for us. So now the challenge is to be consistent. It would be nice kung lagi kami nag-improve, but we know that the PBA, it's our league, malalakas yung ibang team, it'll always be a roller coaster ride. But what I can say is our resolve and our passion should not waver every conference, and that's why we're looking for the best pieces for Coach Topex and what he feels like should be, a right mix for players to execute his vision and yung game, yung style ng play niya. So yun lang ano namin, to be a consistent contender, and hopefully we just keep on replicating our past success.
Pau, Pau, may,
Oo.
may ano ako dito na comment eh. It's up to you if you want to answer it. Untouchable daw ba si Matt and Perks sa mga trade?
I don't want to say untouchable kasi kung si LeBron James yan, baka pag-isipan ko eh. LeBron James. Or Kevin Durant. Ayan, mag-isipan ko. Pero pagka less talent than that, siguro pass na po kami.
Alright.
Oo. So, I mean, napakaswerte, no? Napakaswerte ni Coach Topex. Na love talaga siya ng Phoenix team manager na si Paolo Bugia. Tignan mo naman, love month pa rin. Team manager and coach, ano ba, hindi naman love affair. Love affair daw, baka machismis. Hindi. The love between, and the support between the team manager and the coach na you're really paving way for him to be able to make his moves and to execute his game plan. So, yan naman. O, Lika, doon na tayo sa ating medyo hard-hitting questions ba? Hard-hitting questions.
Inaabangan ni
Sige.
Christian eh. Kasi si Christian, isang question niya, isa dun eh. Sige.
Oo. So, right now, Pao, or Bugs, meron tayong tinatawag na yes or no questions. Fast talk style. So, we will be asking you questions without any explanation. You just have to answer yes or no. Okay? So, ready ka na? Ready na ba tayo?
Yes.
Game na. Okay, game na. Okay.
Disclaimer, wala
First-
akong kinalaman dyan sa mga questions pa.
Okay, first question. Was it hard to manage a team inside the bubble?
No,
Okay.
it was very hard.
It was very Di nakati sa magot eh.
Oo, nag-follow up.
Did you ever consider letting go of Calvin when he was suspended?
No,
Okay, sige. Are you confident that for the next conference, you may have a chance at the finals?
yes,
Was there ever a trade that you ever regret making?
no, I don't think so. No.
Hmm. Um,
Bawal
have you
mag-explain, no? Bawal
Oo,
mag-explain.
bawal mag-explain. Fast
Unless
talk
gusto mo.
lang. Oh, unless
Unless,
gusto mo.
unless gusto mo.
We made it to the final four, almost to the finals last conference, and I think that all the moves that we made in the past years was towards that success. So I'd say na wala kami ni regret in the past.
Okay, sige.
Ay.
Have you had to deal with a player that was afraid to go back to training because of COVID-19?
Yes.
Okay. In all your stay at the PBA, was there ever a time you cried over a game by Cara Mallonga? Hindi ako gumawa niya question eh.
All my time, no? Even playing years.
Yes,
Yeah,
even your
yeah.
playing years.
Yes. Right over a game.
Um, okay, next question. Would you consider Phoenix as one of the top 5 teams in the PBA?
Of course. Yes. Final four last conference.
Love your own talaga. Ayan, ayan. Bray, shoot.
Ito na.
Ah.
Is the Abueva Banchero trade on the top 5 hardest decisions that you have ever had to do as a team manager?
Yes. Most definitely. Top 5.
All right. Chris, sinagot na ha?
Okay. Is it more difficult to manage an independent team?
Independent team. I wouldn't know. I haven't managed.
No, like in the PBA. An independent team in the PBA.
No. Probably not.
Okay.
Thinking of what I have here.
Okay. Bakit sa akin napunta to question mo? Ayoko tanong ito. Are you retiring anytime soon? Or do you have plans now? Si Cara nagtanong, hindi ako ah.
No. No plans. Bata pa
Okay,
po.
so doon na tayo sa ating last and final question, which is, do you ever see yourself having a career outside of basketball?
Yes. In the distant future.
Okay,
May dagdag ako isang question for Chris, Cara.
go ahead.
Favorite teammate mo raw sa Ateneo during your years? Your best buddy?
Di pwede lahat sila.
Isa lang.
Oh, who were you, ano na lang, close?
O sino na lang?
The,
O sino na lang sila?
the three
I was very
people
close.
that you were.
Yeah, I was very close to Enrico Villanueva and Rich Alvarez, who are both my best men in my wedding.
Ayan, sinagot na Chris ha. So, nako, thank you very much, Mr. Bugia, for being such a
Thank you
sport.
so much for
Oo.
having me here. Thank you to all the viewers and all the people who asked the questions also. Thank you.
Oo, sana wag kang madala kay Brian.
Ay, hindi.
Wala nga akong ginawa eh.
Madala kay Brian. So, thank you very much, and we really appreciate the time and at least for accommodating us. And now maybe there's a message that you'd like to share to our viewers regarding yung team nyo, and syempre, of course, they'd want to support your team in the next conference.
Yes. Syempre, I just want to say thank you to all the Phoenix Super LPG fans for all the support ng Bubble Conference. Talagang overwhelmed kami with all the support, love, and inspirational messages that we got on social media and across the internet also. And syempre, we're very excited for this conference. Sana tuloy-tuloy yung suporta ninyo. And hopefully, makita ko kayo soon. Magkita-kita ulit tayo soon. Hopefully, when this pandemic is over, fans can flock back to arenas and we can see each other face to face again and we can hear all your cheers firsthand. So, yun, thank you so much and hope to see you soon.
Ayan, sige, thank you. Maybe you'd like to promote your FB pages, Instagram, pwedeng personal or the team so they can follow your journey. Yan, sa ano. Para tingnan talaga nila kung totoo yung sinasabi mo
Yeah.
future plans o binobola mo
Yes,
lang
yes.
sila.
Yes, we're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just look up Phoenix Super LPG Fuel Masters and give us a follow. Um, what about do they subscribe?
Yeah. Like, subscribe,
And
everything.
Like,
like and
subscribe.
subscribe our posts. We'll be much more active once the season starts. We'll be giving in-depth looks, behind the scenes practice photos and videos, and hopefully some exciting off the court stuff for all the fans to enjoy.
Ayos.
Oo
Kasama,
nga.
kasama,
Oo.
kasama ba kami dyan?
Yes, sir, of course.
Oh, it is not yet finished daw. Ang So yan,
we're
oy,
we're looking to grow. We're looking to grow every day.
oh.
We're looking to
So,
grow.
Brian, batiin ko lang si Engineer Robert Robina of Signer Quest. Ayan, ang provider natin ng trainings for health and safety. So, they
Mhm.
also provide the trainings for the PBA staff, the PFL staff, and also the games and amusement sport.
Okay.
Yan. So,
Um,
ikaw, Brian,
ako
before ako
naman,
mag-conclude.
ang basta it was nice seeing Pao after 15 years. Ang tagal na natin din.
I see you
Puti,
also.
Oh, yeah.
itim pa
Yeah.
ba buhok mo noon? Nung nakita
Oo,
ka niya?
oo naman. Basta mga ano pa kami. That was a long time ago. Thank you so much. And sana ma-invite kayo namin ulit at magka madala kay Kara sa
No
mga
problem, no
sabi niya.
problem. Just give me a text. Okay lang po.
Alright. And everyone, thank you to Chris, to si Gab, si Jordan, at saka yung mga nagtanong. Thank you for asking your questions. Si Aldrin pa pala na meron daw siyang prospects para sa iyo, Bugs. May dalawa daw siyang videos.
Oo.
Yan.
Pwede ba nalang i-message yun sa Phoenix LPG Fuel
Oh,
Masters FB
yes.
page?
Tag
Ayan.
na lang siguro sa Instagram.
Yeah.
Oo,
Ganun,
tag
ganun lang
na
gawin mo,
lang.
Aldrin, ganun lang gawin mo. So yun. Tapos batiin ko na si Heidelin Diaz. Happy birthday today. That's it.
Oo. Happy birthday, Heidelin. So, yan. Women
Okay.
empowerment tayo. So, maraming salamat. And to all our viewers, thank you for your support and for watching the entire episode. Kahit na pagpasensyahan nyo na yung co-host ko ha. Ganyan talaga yan. Pero anyway. Ayan, it was a fun interview. Thank you very much. And please continue to follow and support us here at Sports Bites. Again, this is Cara Mallonga.
This is Brian Yalung with Mr.
Paolo
Paolo.
Bugia.
Yeah. All right. Good
Thank you very
night.
much. Good
Night,
night
everybody.
and God
Bye-bye.
bless.
Thank you so much.
Stay,
Bye-bye.
stay safe, everyone.